Hello everybody, this is Tim from Mainly Muscle Cars along with cameraman Ken, and today we're looking at a 71 Mustang convertible. Really rare car. This is one of 42 total. I mean, that's with every option content of anything, but one of 42 429 Cobrajet cars. So a very, very rare car. To kind of put that in context, we've only got 50 states, so there's 8 unlucky states out there somehow. Anyhow, this one here is very original car. This is as much of a barn find as I have ever seen. We got this one out of Spokane, Washington, where it had sat in a barn untouched for 13 years, unseen as well. Previous owner put it in a barn, came back 13 years later to show it to us. So when we found this thing, it was completely covered in dust. I mean, we've got some photos of it, but it's one thing to see pictures of it. It was another thing to kind of show up and unearth this thing. But the good thing was it'd been in a machine shed in basically what is almost a desert in Washington ever since coming here, and prior to that it lived in Arizona. So a very, very rust-free car, pretty much untouched mechanically as well. So as far as a candidate for a restoration, it really doesn't get any better than this one here. Again, it has the numbers matching engine, the correct transmission with a cast iron tail shaft housing. All the factory ram air stuff is there. Doesn't really look like any of that stuff has been disturbed. The only thing we can really see that was disturbed on the engine was they did replace that factory Quadrajet with a Holley carburetor. But other than that, factory exhaust manifolds, just basically it's all there. It's just kind of awaiting a good restoration. When we got it in, we changed the oil in it, we pre-oiled it, we ran some fresh fuel through the system, we flushed out the tank, blew out the lines. It actually runs real well. When you do start it up though, there is a bit of a clatter. I would recommend just doing a full engine rebuild. It does run, we've driven it, but with the restoration you're going to want to rebuild that one, and that's kind of why I'm going to recommend that the new owner does that one. The transmission works, the steering works, the brakes work. So I think we've got a really good car in our hands here, basically one that's just rare enough where it deserves a restoration. Alright, under the hood here you can really start to appreciate just how much of the original components are here. That air cleaner is an extremely rare unit. Really cool to see the factory bulb seal on that one. Also the plate underneath the hood right here. This is the original one. You can see by the fiber mesh and such. Still has the vacuum actuators on there, and what those do is when it senses low throttle, so basically when you're giving its full throttle, you drop down to a very low vacuum situation, and it allows those to open so it feeds cold air to the engine. Very cool to see that there and still intact. Again, the original Quadrajet was removed, has a Holley carburetor on it, but for the most part everything is there. It does have the correct 71 valve covers on it, which are, again, they're a little bit different than your 70 units. The AC is still in place. It's just, it still has some of the factory tower clamps on it. This vacuum setup right here is very hard to find, basically impossible. But fiber fan shroud. Now you will see there's a little crack here at some point, so whether somebody had broke a motor mount or something, but it is repairable. But that fiber fan shroud is a very, very hard unit to find. All the AC hoses are correctly routed, has the correct clamps on them and such. So as far as a restoration goes, there hasn't been a lot that has really been messed with under this hood. So anybody who's restored a car and you've been through that, it's a lot of times the small things are what kill you. And here they appear to all be there. On the interior, when we found the car, it was actually still in pretty good condition. There was a bit of dust, but not bad. The only thing that we saw that had ever really been traded out were the front seats. They were actually out of a 74 Mustang, so kind of like the low back bucket seat with a headrest. We did have a set of the original style 71, so we put these in. We figured rather than put a black set in, we just bought a set of the reproduction upholstery and put that on. Now obviously this is a standard interior which this car was equipped with. Kind of another thing that makes this car so interesting is that they opted for that, the big engine, the ram air and the air conditioning, and then went with the standard interior. So it's pretty interesting. It actually has the same steering wheel as a Boss 351, which is fun. This one does have the stereo option, which is cool. It has speakers in the doors, has tinted windows, but that's about it option-wise. As you can see, though, the factory carpet is still in place. It still has the cardboard dividers that go over the threshold and underneath the scuff plates, which is pretty neat to see. You really don't see that just by the nature of cardboard and how it degrades. But if you pull off the scuff plates, the cardboard is still in place. So that's a fun deal. If you've restored a car, that's what you want to see. You kind of want to see that this pretty much been untouched, and it's kind of fun to be the first guy to get there.